What is going on, everybody? Woods Walker Outdoors here today. I'm working on a 2005 Ford Taurus SE, and I've noticed on YouTube that there are a few. Some are not as good, some are a little better, some are kind of starting after things are already taken apart. Videos on how to replace this power steering pump reservoir or the power steering pump. I won't be getting into the pump, I'm just replacing the reservoir. You can see it's leaking here. Get you a good video there, leaking there, and it is leaking down below. So we're getting this off here, we're putting a new reservoir on, we're putting new O-rings on, and all that good stuff. But I just wanted to make a video showing how to start, and really showing everybody what all comes apart in this. So I'm going to start by taking the cap off. I've not personally replaced one of these on this model before, but heck, I figured I'll do it. We'll make a good video. I'm going to start by using my Pittsburgh lubricant suction gun here. You can pick these up for a few bucks at the good old Harbor Freight. And I'm going to use it. And I'm going to pull every bit of fluid that I can get out of here. I'm going to put it in this container. Alright, so pretty straightforward, simple, Just lock her in here. It's got a little lock. Sets it in there. We're going to draw as much of this fluid as I can get out. This does hold quite a bit. But you do on these kind of have to hold the suction and get that tube back up, or it'll keep flowing it out. So I'm going to put that into my bucket here. Make some crazy noises with it. I'm going to go back in here as far as we can. I want to get as much as I can out, just so, kind of limiting my mess here. So there's all that. Crazy noises again. Give you a look in here. That's pretty much everything I can get out. You can work on it some more, if you want to. But I'm going to go ahead and take my little pan here, slide her underneath, and, catch what I can. Or even place a towel down here below it, if there's not a whole lot in there, and catch it into the rag. So next, I'll take my adjustable, and I did turn her upside down to do this. This way there's not a whole lot of room in here between these lines. So I did turn it upside down to get in there and start working on it. I'll show you in just a minute, but I did break it free that way. I did get a little scuff here using, my big adjustable. You could use a regular wrench, but I'm not worried about this reservoir. Don't care nothing about it. It's coming off. It's being gone. I got a new one. So here we go. Get our wrench on here. Give her some good turns. Get back under here. Again, there's not a ton of room. As you can see, there's not a ton of room to get in here and do this. But there is enough. So there's the basic idea there. I'm going to finish unthreading this. Alright, now once you get so far, you can finish unthreading it by hand. Get it on out of there. As you can see, it does have some O-rings on it there. And I believe that is supposed to be a pressure regulator valve there. And the O-rings should come with the new kit. And you can see that, yeah, those look pretty wore out. Yes, I did put gloves on. Gloves are optional, but it does keep you a little cleaner. Next, we're going to remove this hose down here on the bottom of the reservoir. Yes, some of you are saying, replace those pliers. Yes, I do need to replace these. They are a little rusty. But I'm going to get down here on the hose, like so. See if I can do it with the camera here. Possibly not, but you get the idea. Wiggle this on down. This is hard to do with the camera. There she goes. Get that hose off of there, and then we can take our pliers. We can get this hose twisted and pulled off the bottom of this reservoir. Alright, this little valve here. Make sure it stays down in there. I don't need it to necessarily come out. Get my pliers down here. Finish twisting and taking off that hose. There we go. Alright, now let's see. A little stiff, but exactly what I was thinking. So if you look online, if you look on Google, whatever, AI, you know, sometimes it's junk, it will tell you that there are metal clips holding this on. Well, here it is. There's no metal clips on this. There's a nice big O-ring here, which I will have to get out with my pick. That's supposed to come in the set too. And we're going to work on getting this reservoir the rest of the way out of here. We got all these wires and stuff to kind of deal with. Let me set you on a better spot. Maybe not a perfect spot. I need to get a tripod, but y'all can see what I'm doing here anyway. I'm not too worried about this reservoir. It's just, you know, I want to make sure I can get it out easy. So when I go to put the new one in, I can put the new one in nice and easy and not damage anything. But there it is, yeah. So it's, you know, it's pretty nasty in there. You can see everywhere down in here. I'm gonna get you a better shot. I better put that on my towel, huh? Keep things clean. You can see in here where it's been leaking, which, you know, this is from where we just pulled it off, but it's been leaking down there on that. It's been coming out of this here from these old O-rings, which you can tell they are pretty chewed up. That O-ring's not too bad. I'm not 100% that O-ring has necessarily failed, but since we have a new one, we might as well put the new one on. So let's get this O-ring off. Okay, so I have this it's an older pick set. Actually, I've had it for a long time. But I'm sure you can pick up a set of these, you know, fairly cheap somewhere. But I'm just going to use this little pick. And I'm not worried about this O-ring, you know, but not damaging anything else. And she'll just slip right off there like that. Should be able to pull it on off of here. It's just kind of slippery. But there she is. There's the O-ring. And again, looking at this, yeah, I don't truly think that the O-ring is what failed here. Not on that side of the pump. I really think these are the culprit, which I seen that when I first looked at this, that it had seepage around it and then just leaking down. And of course, you know, you got stuff back here on it and junk, but that's probably from going down the road and blowing that fluid around when you're using it. So yeah, now we'll go get the new one from the parts store around lunchtime, and we'll get her thrown back on here and we'll show you how to put her back on. Okay, so our new reservoir came in. Everything matches up. It looks the exact same. I think maybe this new one is a little bit thinner plastic, but not a big deal. It's just a simple reservoir. So we got our O-rings here as well. We got the one for the pump here, and then we got two more that go on the pressure regulator setup here. So let's get the big one put on, and then here in just a moment we'll take these two off and put the two small ones on. Alright, so I'm getting a little bit of this old power steering fluid just from around this reservoir and stuff, and just kind of grease up this new O-ring just a bit. And then we're going to go down in here, and I think I'm going to put the bottom on first. Get it started in there, then I can kind of work my way up here. Really don't want to use my pick or nothing on this, you know, because I don't want to damage this O-ring. But that O-ring is on there, and it's got it's a little bit higher, I think. So that's good. Maybe that should make a good seal there. All right, so I'm gonna get my little offset here and get these O-rings off. Not worried about these at all either. So if they tear or whatever, that's fine with me. Probably should have got me a better light here, huh? See what I'm doing. Oh, that one's down there. We'll get it later. Let's see. Get up under it. All right, these O-rings, they definitely look a little rougher. So let's get these new ones on here. Get the big one first. Right here. Slip it up on here. Just gonna roll it on. Nice and smooth. Just like that. Get the small one. Sorry about the ducks in the back. Oh, don't drop it there. Roll it up on here. I really don't like to use a pick with a new one, but I think it's gonna be the only way we're gonna get it over this. So we will be gentle, just like that. And that is snapped into place. So that's good to go. Now we got the reservoir, or the reservoir's O-ring is on. So we'll get the reservoir slipped on here and get that tightened back up. Let's go ahead, slip it in here. A little bit of an angle. Being careful, make sure we're lined up. And this just simply slips back over this other O-ring, just like that. We're gonna have to go a little bit further. I don't want to be super rough with it because I don't want to damage nothing. We are dealing with plastic and rubber here, but that looks lined up very nice. Now we'll take this, push it back down in here, and we will get it threaded back in. That little cylinder in there, when you get this started, you gotta get it pushed back in there to get to your thread. You see how I'm not on there yet? Push it a little further. Let's see, we may have to use our wrench here a little bit just to get it started. All right, so it takes a little bit to get this pressure on here and get it straight and lined up to start tightening it up. But I did finally get it. Tell you what, we could also take this dipstick, the oil dipstick, out of the way. Maybe that gives us a little bit better swinging right there. Yes, sir. So that seems nice and tight to me. It's slid in all the way. It's in line. So we are going to put some power steering fluid in here and fill this up. And we will turn our wheel left and right several times, around 20 or more times, without it running. Do not crank this until you have turned that wheel. Try to get that fluid back in the system. But first, we're going to throw this bottom hose back on real quick, that you've seen us take off in the beginning. So slide that all the way up on there. Get your rusty pliers back out. Maybe I'll have me a new set by next time. Get a hold of that little hose clamp down there. Can be tricky sometimes. Slide it all the way back up. I have to flip the pliers. Slide it all the way back up to where it was. There she is. She is tightened down there. That should keep that from leaking. Should be on there pretty tight. So everything's in place now. Now we're gonna put the fluid in here and turn our wheel again at least 20 or more times. Get that fluid back into the system, and then we'll give her a crank and see how she's doing. If we still have a little bit of seepage back here, we can always come back and do a little more tightening on this until it completely stops. So yeah, looks good. Good old pre-stone fluid. I've already put a little bit in here. Finish filling her up to the top here, to the proper level. There we are. Now we're gonna get in here, turn this steering wheel back and forth several times with the vehicle off. To make life a little bit easier, I'm gonna put a jack under the front end and get the tires off the ground a little bit, make it easier on turning this steering wheel. Okay, we are inside. See how much easier that makes it for us there. All the way back to the right, all the way back to the left. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're going to take this all the way to 20 or 30. Make sure to step out and check your fluid level. As you can see, it pulled quite a bit in. So we'll top this off and go back to turning our wheel. Put the lid on here and give her a few more turns. Okay, so while it was up on the jack stand, we crunked her up and continued bleeding the system while it was running. I don't like to crank them at the very beginning trying to bleed this system. I want to try to get some fluid back in that system before I go to crank it up. But when you do crank it, they may still be whining, which this one was. And it's just a case of sitting there running that steering wheel all the way to the left, all the way to the right. And I mean, it took a while to finally get this system to bleed out and stop whining. But it is bled out, no more sounds. It's good to go. So that is how you change a power steering pump reservoir on a 2005 Ford Taurus 3.0 V6. Thank y'all for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.